Well, hello everybody. Another live. It's going to be a busy day. Lots of work to do. It's just incredible what comes through the pipeline. Work I've done in the IMO, International Maritime Organization. I've published this for years. Years. I've stood up, cried out again and again of what is and what we're led to believe. Folks, Joe Biden falls flat on his face. His administration decimated in the last 48 hours. Specifically now, everywhere, it's coming out everywhere. As was stated in early March, in my older videos, more than a month old, I told you, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates are not going to join hands with Joe Biden's flip-flopping. I'm going to tell you again, for the umpteenth time, the OPEC countries who were not vested in the United States of America, not vested in the Russian Federation. They're not. These are all Middle East oil conglomerates all the way through down to South America. Some states who've had nothing but awful histories with both the Russian Federation and the United States of America. They said no. They've proclaimed that they want a stability price of $70 a barrel maximum. Are they going to help Joe Biden in his forced 130 plus barrels of oil today? His narratives that go against everything his administration for the last 20 years has pushed, pressed for world dominance, world narrative in absolute energy poverty. The answer is no, folks. We have to go back absolutely now to the 2020 absolute law worldwide from the International Maritime Organization. Folks, if you don't know what that is, I'm going to remind you. A binding organ of the UN underneath the 5 powers, P5, I talk about all the time, cemented in 2020, January 1st, folks, that outlined sulfur content of shipping fuels, 0.5% from a whopping 3.5%, which is almost all absolutely covering of Alberta's northern oil. There's also API, viscosity. Alberta falls into medium oil, medium sour crude oil, which is the abundance of the 180 million barrels of oil to be released by Joe Biden in the next 6 months. Alberta's northern oils is what's in those salt caverns by a large whopping majority that no longer fits the IMO, which means refinement of said released oils by Joe Biden, who has been a huge proponent of the Green New Deal. Now in emergency says, release all that Alberta crude we've stored and kept in the salt caverns to go out that can't be refined on the East Coast, none whatsoever except for way up north to be shipped. But who will ship it? It's been talked about, it's been shown. There's no ship that can run the fuels and that piss poor content, let alone refine it or run any refined product over that percentage. And worse, folks, worse is the European Union. All of them who said 0.1% sulfur content Agenda 2030 by the royal family, accepted by all unitary states. That's what they say. Folks, USA, Green New Deal, my ass. Joe Biden is a total fraud. He's been slapped out with no choice as the OPEC countries, including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, supposedly allies of the USA, say, get fucked, get bent. Joe Biden, you're going down, you dirty old bastard, lying, depraved son of a bitch. You're going down, motherfucker. I can say this confidently, as all real experts, real practicers of international law, real observers of international law would give you that in plain speak. I'm giving it to you in plain speak as easily and as best I can, folks. If you don't like the language, tough titty. Joe Biden is finished. Midterms are going to remove his power over Congress and likely following that Senate. Absolutely. Completely castrating him in any real powers of governance. He will have his executive power after that, which is a sad state of American affairs when you have such a crummy presidency, such a crummy, full of shit administration, trying to lie, cheat, and steal America away from Americans on the illusion that, don't worry, we've got this under control. Radical inflation, taking cues from Justin Trudeau, the last person you should ever follow. Justin Trudeau. Look at the East versus West. Look at the numbered system of oils recoverable in USA all the way through Canada. The refinement process of the eastern seaboard of North America, where we're shut, no cokers, no crackers, extreme carbon pricing and extreme carbon tax from all socialist parties. They all are, folks. It's all about you paying, you being punished for exploits of divine capitalists, divine socialists. Whichever narrative you want to believe, that's your choice. We can argue both sides of the fence, but at the end of the day, it's the people who are being lied to, the people who are being punished, the people of North America, and literally, absolutely, those in the Treaty Indian lands of Western Canada, the worst being Alberta, parts of northern BC into southern Saskatchewan. That is the worst of the worst, folks. And even into northern Saskatchewan overlaps through Athabasca, punished beyond all measure for the righteousness of an elite that gets all the perks of divine socialism, divine capitalism. Well, you get all those things that don't work. You get all of them. You get the bills, you get the faults. That's what you get. And the lies. IMO, 0.5% content. That's not what Joe Biden's releasing, because again, everybody, medium crudes that came from Alberta. Look at the API of Alberta. It's medium crude. Look at the sulfur content. That's Alberta. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm going to back out of everything I said because the world's not gravitating to my bullshit. My allies have largely abandoned me. My name's Joe Biden, and I've walked back on everything I've ever said because I am a compulsive liar. I'm a populist president. I'm way worse than even Donald Trump. I've attempted to breach the Constitution of America 8 times. I lie to everybody on the world stage. Even the Middle East tells me to get fucked. They won't even return his calls. They're hanging up the phone. It's all in publication. It's very low publication because you, the people, that doesn't fit the Western media, even though it's absolutely the truth. Very few have the courage to release it. Absolutely, all those in energy have to release it, as limited as the stories are. The truth is there. Now, the American people and Canadians, especially those in the eastern side of Canada, are going to be lied to and told, hey, your prices went down a little, but it's still astronomical. And everyone's going, oh, but look, demand has gone down. Of course demand's gone down. Your average Canadian and American won't pay those prices. Will choose no holidays, no travel, no economic stimulus because we have no choice. We can't even afford to eat anymore. Not in any normal capacity. Vegetables have become luxury items. Vegetable oils are going to soon be off the market for people. You won't be cooking with vegetable oils soon. You'll have to steam everything. Plain, and meats are expensively off the table because the amount of energy used to create that is too much. Growing crops is too much. Agricultural shrinks in Canada at an alarming rate year after year. It's been going on since 1867, but now it's happening in the Green New Deal called Joe Biden and his NWO Canada. Europe is going to be betraying Joe Biden very, very soon and going to the ruble, which isn't a huge impact on Americanization of economics around the world. It isn't, folks. All these people saying, oh, the dollar is going to crash in the USA. It is not. It's a very small, when you look at $385 billion for the energy sector of Russia, I mean, it's not impactful on a $26 trillion American economy. It's not. It is, but it isn't. It's a small portion of it. What? How much is that, folks? To do the math, 2%? A 2%, which is something. I'm not saying it's nothing. But where does that 2% increase somehow destroy America and Canadians' purchasing power and make us debt slaves and make us unable to purchase food, drive our vehicles, sustain ourselves, forced to look at electric cars? You will buy the electric car of tomorrow or you will die. That's basically the forced economic change we're going through. And everything Joe Biden's doing with gas and oil right now and promising Americans is absolutely opposite of what he's campaigned on, what he's doing, what he's transitioning into. As he hurt so many in the private sector, he's going back on all of it now because he knows he won't get elected again, because Joe, Canada's bullshit was fed to you by the royal family, which isn't sustainable and only removes American sovereignty. Joe, America first, pal. Your Agenda 2030 isn't working in America. Now you have to backtrack on it. You have to be a bold-faced liar. And the rest of the world's going, whoa, wait a minute, Joe. United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, which is only 2 members of that whole OPEC community who are not down with you. They would rather follow in Russia's system than they would follow in yours. And they're outside of the Russian system, who has betrayed them lots, just as America has too. This time, they're not going with it, and neither are those loyalists, most loyal to the USA, are going, fuck you, Joe. And that's in plain speak, everybody. When someone won't answer the president's calls over and over, and they keep turning them away, that's a fuck you, asshole. We're done with you. We told you $65 to $70 a barrel maximum. Nobody wants high energy prices. Believe it or not, folks, nobody does want to see the world suffer. They don't want to see the common person suffer. Joe Biden and his NWO counterparts, i.e. Justin Trudeau and the royal family and all those unitary monarchy-loving, super divine over a mass amount of peoples, the most of The free world doesn't want that. And even these totalitarians, dictators, don't want to destroy their people and see them completely wiped out. Nobody wants that. No one's going to go down with Joe Biden's ship. Joe Biden made a bunch of bullshit promises, a lie, a narrative economically that isn't sustainable. It's the opposite of that. It's actually about creating their own oligarchs. So they're telling oligarchs, we want to fuck you over, but we want to put in place our oligarchs. Okay? Can you support us with that? And they're saying, no, we're watching what you're doing to Russia. No fucking way, USA. No fucking way. Go fuck yourself. You've criticized us. You've slammed us. You've made spectacles of us with your media. You say we're this, we're that. You say you're better than everybody, but then you turn around and do exactly the same thing because it's about populism and getting reelected. You want to impose your system of totalitarianism. No thanks. We'll just stay on our own, even at tremendous cost, because we don't trust you to be anything more or less than anything we are. You're the exact same thing. And we're not down with it, pal. Beat it. We've heard enough of you and your propaganda media. You're going to go down, Joe Biden. We don't ever want to see this kind of presidency ever come forward. We're done with you. You're going to go down with your lies. You're going to go down with the ship. That's the truth, folks. That's the truth today, as it was years ago, as it's the truth forevermore. And the European Union is fucking screwed. And they're going to have to deal with Russia. That's a fact. All Joe Biden and Western media bullshit. Canada, who has no place there, none whatsoever. No real effect, none whatsoever. In all their propaganda, who can't even pay for Ukrainians who've come fleeing over here and finding the reality that you were suckered. There's no free basic income for you, or where every Canadian's going to turn over $28,000 minimum to take care of you and your children. We can't even take care of our own poor. What you've heard, what the liar Canadian government told you, is more lies. You have to become a debt slave. You've come into a constitutional monarchy. You were from a unitary state. You should have listened to Russia. They were trying to tell you. But you've been compromised by that what is Joe Biden, all fucking lies, because the guy's a fucking liar. He's the worst president probably ever in the history of USA. They said one term, Donald Trump, terrible president, even though he had a lot of successes, but he did do some terrible things in the end. And it's sad he did that out of desperation, the need for populism. It was wrong. You never violate the people of the USA. Read the Constitution. Too many checks and balances, you're going to get caught with your pants down. Joe Biden, not only does he have his pants down, he's walking around like he doesn't even know the pants are down in front of everybody. All his junk hanging out, and people are going, what the hell kind of president is that? It's not going to work for Joe Biden, guys. Nothing he's going to try and do for the next 6 months is going to amount to diddly squat. Because he's flip-flopping, and you can't flip-flop when you've already canceled too many things. Keystone XL was a huge one. Justin Trudeau wanted that. Joe did it. Joe listens to NWO. And his best example is one Justin Trudeau, who's protected. He doesn't have a constitution of we the people, Joe. Justin Trudeau is in a me the dictator and my privy council I've selected with an appointed Senate I've created, who are all sworn to me regardless of their stripes. And every other privy council member that's alive and well today are all sworn to me. Even that motherfucker Maxime Bernier will suck on it and do whatever I say because he's sworn and he gets a paycheck for that. Joe Biden, that is not America. That is not the governance of America. And you're going to bleed out. The rest of the world knows you're screwed. They're smart enough to read and understand your Constitution. Obviously, you're not capable, Joe. People are trying to say that somehow Joe Biden is incompetent. Well, sure, I would say he's more corrupt, and he's a professional liar. We got one, Jason Kenney in Alberta. Joe's one of those, Justin Trudeau too. The difference is Justin Trudeau has absolute authority, not only of all executive power of the federal government, he's got lieutenant governor of every province to command them too. Them too. He only has to kiss ass to Ontario and Quebec because they have a little variation, unlike the rest of the country, making Canada really a unitary state. They have a federalism nobody uses that can completely be usurped by all courts, provincial, highest superior court, Supreme Court. This isn't the same in the United States of America. That's all junk thrown away. Joe Biden thought he can just through populism command that same as all his NWO counterparts who are monarchies or unitary states, like Ukraine unitary, European Union largely unitary, almost all unitary. Monarchies like Brexit UK, which is a constitutional monarchy without a real codified constitution. France unitary. Canada completely really unitary, as no premier will enact any powers provincially in a real constitution for any of you. They rely on lieutenant governor and back to the federal crown, stuff in their fucking pockets. Oil, the law, international binding law. Joe, you're bailing Americans out in the short term on a fucking lie. And your carbon pricing, carbon tax scheme, as Canadians are already going through, we've been going through it a lot longer than Americans. That's why our cost of living is so much more. The impacts are so much more devastating. Has fuck all to do with Russia. None whatsoever. It's the fact we have no reserves to even impact soften nothing. Harper didn't want that. Trudeau doesn't want that. They sold all your gold reserves. Uh-oh. They have no oil reserves. That's private companies' oil reserves. Sure, some province have invested in some. Alberta did. I don't see those getting released. And even if you could, where are they going to get released to? That's not the supply and value chains to go across Canada. You're going to pay a deep carbon price tax for that. There's no way out of this because the crown has spoken. And Joe Biden's now attached to the crown. He fucked himself over and he's caught literally with his junk hanging out, dealing with a constitution that doesn't allow him to do anything he said he's going to do. And he's trying to do a cheap parlor trick from the monarchical system, the unitary states, to pull a fast one on Americans. And it's not going to work. You don't have the Eastern Seaboard refineries for it, Joe. You can't tell me what oil's in your ground. I know all of it, buddy. I'm an economist, and I worked in oil and gas my whole life. If you want to see the truth, it's the last 3 years of my timeline on Facebook. You will find I can back up every claim I make, and I can stand here today giving this breaking news, which is not breaking to me. It's funny to me that Joe walked right into it with none other than the NWO, Justin Trudeau. You fell for Justin Trudeau, the pure autocratic tyrant with massive executive power you don't have, Joe. And the world's saying, Joe, you want to be a totalitarian autocrat, eh? Your Constitution is going to throw you out in your fucking ass. And if we support you now and bail you out, it's not even going to lead to re-election in any kind of meaningful sense in your Congress or Senate. It's all flying away, Joe. It's a fool's folly to back Joe Biden from this day going forward. Clearly, he is undone. And why? Because he has a lunatic administration incapable of seeing the world as it is, operating in any real mindful set, with any economic sense, none whatsoever, or any international legal sense, as it really is. Things the USA has backed up and cemented. I give it to Donald Trump's administration, not Donald Trump. I give it to his administration. I'm not saying he isn't a brilliant businessman in his own right, but the strength of Donald Trump was in the people he chose to be around him and his economics and smarts. He did some good things. It was at a very large cost to the public in long-term debt financing, but ultimately there were real economic transitions going forward that have lasting effects, like energy independence. Energy independence that Joe Biden has walked back on, ruined, and then turned around and went the other way again, contrary to everything he's ever said. And he doesn't even have the refining capacity to make it meaningful. Meaning, especially for Canadians, it's a joke. You're going to buy back Alberta oil out of salt caverns, largely over the sulfur content, which means who pays the tax for that? You, the people, do of Canada. America under Joe Biden will find out this reality coming forward. Joe can't bail out Americans in any real meaningful way. Supply and demand, they're saying, oh, but the demand has fallen, meaning people aren't wanting the fuels, the gasoline, the oil in USA like they said they wanted to, that they thought they would. It's not that people don't want it. People can't afford it. This is how out of touch the radical left and the fucking nutcase media is. That radical lunatic left. They will become the radical right and right vice versa. They'll smack into each other. If you don't believe me, just look at Canada, the Conservative Party of Canada, Pierre the bullshitter Poilievre, another Joe Biden in disguise, who will lie to people, and by the tens of thousands of people run there, I love him, I love him, I love Joe Biden, Pierre Poilievre. They're the same guy, man. That's what it is. People with no real mind or good people around them. None whatsoever. Nothing real. Just garbage. Same as the Liberals. Justin Trudeau's a tyrant and autocrat. He is the leader of the NWO. He's right in there with the royal family. Number one for the NWO. And you know what? He only gets away with it because of our Constitution of Canada. Again, where all that tremendous executive power resides with him and him alone. Backed up by the NDP. All in a lunatic narrative that's going to bankrupt every Canadian citizen, turn you into poverty. If you don't believe me, Venezuela, go check it out. Who's not down with the Crown and Joe Biden. They went fuck you too. I mean, that's a given. Angola, the rest of them, all of the 50 members like fuck you, but the best being United Arab Emirates and of course Saudi Arabia going fuck you, Joe. And when I say that again, everybody, this is, click. Can you imagine the President of the United States? Hey man, it's me, Joe Biden. I need you to do me a big hello. Oh, there was a click. I think we got a disconnection. Joe, it's been going on for over a month. You're garbage, man. Your government's going to fall. Your whole administration shot. Lunatics. You're done. You should have read your Constitution. It's pretty sad when a guy from Alberta, that hillbilly racist pervert that you all hate so much, that Justin Trudeau and the rest of them, and even the Conservatives have really worked hard to discredit, destroy. It's pretty funny that I've nailed you ass to the wall, president, and you're going down at midterms. I mean, he'll still be there, sadly, everybody, because USA needs a major amendment to the executive power of government. I think a lot of Republicans and Democrats can agree that populism should be ripped away from the American presidency, especially if you're not of intelligence enough to surround yourself with those capable of understanding international law, domestic law, laws in general, learning the world as it really is, operating real economics on a world stage, keeping with the systems as they're developed, following the will of the people, the sacred laws of the people, i.e. the Constitution of the United States of America. When you can't do that, and you clearly produce an administration in charge of all that, that has no real grasp of it, and it's based in Hollywood, let's fight Ukraine. You got fucking Sean Penn, everybody. Sean Penn standing up there today. We gotta buy, billionaires in the USA gotta buy planes and bomb the shit out of Russia. Sean Penn, you're a no good dumb fuck. You have no business in any real governing systems, none whatsoever. You're a joke, an actor trying to make money on some surreal bullshit from Ukraine. All those people finding out as they flee Ukraine that didn't go the way of Russia, who went across the seas, oh, I'm going to make a life in USA and Canada. Paddle whack in the ass, socialists. There ain't none of that shit promised to you by the liar Justin Trudeau, the Crown, the UK, the rest of it. They just suckered you into a slave class system. And you get to start at rock bottom. Not rock bottom, I'm sorry everybody. The First Peoples are rock bottom legally in Canada. That's the system. Ukrainians now, those Ukrainians here for the temporary 3 years, they're just above the rock bottom. Welcome to it. Now, the Ukrainians of the 5th, 6th generation ago, my generation in Canada, and that's Western Canada, those who built Canada, largely Ukrainians, they know rock bottom. They came here in rock bottom. They built from nothing. So your little European world and unitary states, but I was promised the world and free money and free Canada. Trudeau told me it's all free. You're third class, motherfucker. You just left Ukraine to come to third class status. You came to a constitutional monarchy, a real old shit one. Welcome to being poor, depraved, and having to claw much, much worse than the corruption of Ukraine. Much, much worse. Bet you I can't wait to see 6 months to 2 years from now how fast those Ukrainian families flee to go back. And it may be even sooner than that as Russia enters phase 2 now, which was never about anything but Donbass as released in their parliament. Western media won't tell you this, but it's published February 24th. You can go look at Russian parliament. It was even provided in English. They provided many languages, not like Ukraine where they force Ukrainian only. Russia gives all languages all the world. You can look. They will entertain a lot of languages, 17 in fact. Federation of Russia. That's called federalism, folks. I'm sorry, the lies keep mounting and people don't like the plain speak, but I have to give the plain speak as it really is. Oil, gas, all of it, International Maritime Organization and binding world law by all countries of the world, led by the United States of America and others, but USA, a P5 member, pushed it, pressed it, mandated it. Justin Trudeau was so fast to destroy every ability of Canada and all its provinces in real unitarianism, that crown colonial power, and all forms of federalism, interprovincial trade, and international trade. On behalf of the royal family, shot down international shipping post January 1st, 2020. You can look at the bills, C-71, C-69, 67, they go on and on. This all has to do with pipelines in international waters, the ability to ship overseas. Canada is unable to, from now and forever, since that time, since January 1st, 2020, and there's no way we can ever do it, thanks to Justin Trudeau and his crown-loving ass. Because again, it's not we, the people of Canada, it's not even We the first people, because you don't exist. No Canadian of the second and third class or any Canadian Indian exists in any way, shape, or form in real material language in the Constitutional Act of Canada, consolidated 1867-1982. You don't exist. You're not there because you're not people, not real people. I'm sorry. That is Canada. It's an old shit system. It's a royal prerogative of elites, a wealthy first class, a radical right narrative and a radical left narrative. It doesn't matter. It's what Nazi Germany was. It was the same design and build based off the Canadian system. That's what we are. USA can't operate like that. You can't operate it like that. It's like a machine. And you know, when there's directions, instructions of how to operate a machine, you all know what happens. If I go jump in a backhoe, I start grabbing pedals, I'll end up flipping the machine or swinging around into a building. There's many hydraulics, levers, foot pedals, controls. There is a training manual. It's called, like a constitution, instructions, how to operate this machine. United States has a set of instructions on how to operate it. Joe Biden said, fuck those instructions. I'm going to run it my way. Justin Trudeau's way. I love it. Come on. Guess what happened, man? You crashed the machine into building. It flipped over, parts fell, killed a bunch of citizens. That's basically what Joe Biden's done. Now he's, please somebody bring in some machines to help me fix my machine. Whoa, Joe, read your Constitution. That's not going to happen, pal. Read the binding international laws you've been making. Your regime, your administration's been making and pressing for years and years, screwing up Congress and Senate, using the media as a weapon. Now that weapon is turned on you because you couldn't operate the user manual. You couldn't run and follow the Constitution of the United States of America. You thought you could copy Justin Trudeau's simple instructions that say, just grab the controls. Who cares how much damage, how many die, or what happens? You're not accountable in Canada's build. No. You can destroy, rape, plunder, smash, kill, and nobody can come after you for nothing. Eventually, you'll figure out how to operate the machine at some point, maybe. Maybe you were never meant to drive it. But in our system, our legal design, that's how it is. And the people are left out to ever complain or say anything because there's no one who will hear you. There's no one who will operate the machine any other way. Even though you might have an idea of letting the people design instructions so that these things don't happen. But not in Canada. USA, yes. And that's why Joe Biden's finished. Can't find a friend anywhere. And he's going to watch Europe entirely pull away from Joe Biden and say, sayonara, numbnuts. You're out of here, bud. I don't know how long Western media can continually lie. I don't see it working out. I don't see radical price decreases without taking on mass amounts of debt for the American people. Republicans don't have to do anything right now except for sit back and relax, put their hands behind their head and go, continue on, Joey. Continue on, Joey. That's the truth. That's my video. 2 more coming today. We still have Day 12, Story 12, Residential School Genocide, as well as Common Talk, a Sunday evening by myself and Tina Maravich, as we talk about standard issues. Take it down a notch, let people talk. Half of our people that we sent out, people I trust to do the residential school genocide narrative, education to the chiefs, have responded. This is the last day on Sunday. I'm going to reach out, try to communicate with people, see what they have to say. If they're not down with it, so be it. I'm going to tell everybody in politics, my provincial election run, it was literally only ever 2 or 3 people ever doing the mass bulk of work for the party. As sad as that is, that's always how it is. People like things that they don't have to do much, and when there's great success, they all come running forward. Oh, I want to be this, I want to take over that, I want to be in charge of that. But they don't want to do the work. And that's just reality. It's okay. It's human nature. That's how people are. They often want somebody else to do the work for them, because doing the work takes time, it takes energy, it takes of yourself, sacrifice, and there's no reward, not personally. And without personal reward, a lot of people aren't likely to do anything. They want it given to them. That's institutionalization. That's the Canadian way, and that's the sad reality of what's Canada. I'm not new to it. I've known it for a very, very long time, and I'm not mad at anybody. It's always been the way, and it's always been the case, and I kind of knew that was going to happen, and it's okay. You'll watch everybody return if there's any kind of real success. Then you see everybody come flooding back. That's how it always goes. Oh, I was there in spirit with you. And I mean, it's okay. It's the nature of the beast. It's what Canada is. It's what we have to fight to correct. We correct it by looking at things as they are, like Joe Biden is absolute finito. Finito internationally and finito in November. He's toast. Those Canadian barrels of oil and the oil reserves, told to you by experts that absolutely it's medium oils with API that can only be found in very few key places. There's some in South America, but the largest by far supply, when you look at what U.S. imports from Canada, comes from northern Alberta. That's what's going to be shipped out in the 180 million that cannot be refined easily in the East Coast at all. There's no template for that there. It's all going to be done Texas and the rest of them, and I mean Alberta obviously, but that's it, folks. That's all there is. Cokers and crackers. But Joe, I thought that's not good, Joe. I thought you had a Green New Deal. I thought electrical's coming forward full power. Why are you doing this? You're a liar. You're a fraud. The worst president ever seen, with the worst administration I've ever seen in a very, very long time, and in record time. It's just funny to live through it, folks, and to be able to do these videos. I told you so. Wow. And the media still won't cover it, won't talk about it, won't educate you. I hope I've educated a lot of Canadians here. I hope a lot of you share, because it's important for all peoples of Canada to know. And Americans should know too. Maybe I should have tagged, but you know what? Lever A and lever B. The truth is coming very fast. By November, you're going to see the reality. So many Canadians are going to see the reality and go, you know what? I'm not down with this shit anymore. And just keep it coming, because it takes breadlines to get change. It takes suffrage to get change. That's unfortunately human nature, especially institutionalized citizens. You've got to go down into the dirt, the very dirt, and watch those around you suffer extremely badly before you're able to act. And then everyone says, yeah, this is a great idea. Until it really tremendously affects you, people will put up with a lot of shit, hoping and praying that their divine politicians are going to do something incredible. But when the money dries up and the ability to give what you say runs out, and it does, if you don't believe me, Venezuela. Thanks, that's my video. Share. Get it out there. People need to know. Bye now.